Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 14th, 2021, and today I thought I'd give you an update on the garden. The russet potatoes are still sitting here. I haven't done anything with them yet. They have just finished curing. They've just got to get some of the loose soil on them brushed off. I thought I'd show you, this is our newest freezer. We have 7 freezers and multiple refrigerator freezers, but the reason I'm showing you this is these are the onions that Thea processed from all those onions you saw a couple weeks ago on those racks. So Thea slices them, gets them all frozen and all. Here are many of our banana peppers here. There's still some over in the other refrigerators, some of the tomatoes in here as well. So another freezer just about filled up at this point. So let's take a look at the gardens. Not a lot has happened with the gardens, but let's go out and take a look. The gooseberries have dropped just about all of their leaves out here. I still have to finish working on these beds, and I haven't weeded around the honeyberries here yet. I've got some more weeding to do here. No changes with the blueberry plants. I may do some cuttings if I can get around to it. I'm just behind with everything again. It's one of my songs I sing, I think. The cover crop, these are the mustard greens here, growing like crazy. I did plant them in here quite thick, and there are two drip tapes, one right here, one right here. I had the drip tapes off because I thought we were going to get some more rain. We're supposed to get some more rain tonight. The weather has been unbelievable. We've set a record for the highest number, the greatest number of 70-degree plus days in a season. So we've got a record going here. Today's another day it's going to be above 70. The thornless blackberries are tip rooting down there. The beans, Thea's going to probably try, now that she's got the onions and the peppers underway, she's going to be harvesting a lot of the scarlet red runner beans that are already dried out like this. Hopefully we can get them in before we get some rain. There's plenty that are ready to go into our drying racks, and the ones that are in our drying racks are ready to come out of the drying racks and go into a great big garbage can so I can go ahead and dehull all of these beans. The red currants, looking great, still the same. They're really starting to lose their leaves now. More of the mustard greens, both in these two areas. And I did recently do a handicap bed, and I mentioned we have wider paths than most market gardeners, and our beds are higher. So you can see, I don't know, probably doesn't show up that well, but one of the things I would say, this extends back to the handicap bed situations. One of the things that I like with the raised beds like this is I can go ahead and put my knees against this mat, my toes down, and be very comfortable and work within these beds. Very, very nice system this is. Besides the weed mats, keep the weeds under control, and the drip tape underneath this. So this is another more easily and more gentle on the body, more ergonomic way. It's not as productive of a space as market gardeners need to be. They really need to get lots of plants per square foot, maximize the productivity, where I'm not maximizing the productivity. I'm maximizing comfort and ease of access is what we're doing here. So I still have more weeding to do here and more plants to get in over there. I got to get this volunteer elderberry plant out of here, and let's go over. Been doing service work on a lot of the equipment here. I'm going to be saying goodbye to Hound pretty soon. Going to put him up for sale. Hopefully someone will want him pretty quickly. And now we're going over to the central garden plot. I think that we're about 2 weeks since the seeds were started in these 3 beds. So this was tomatoes, and that was banana peppers there. The comfrey's up against the wall here. I'd like to weed whack that pretty soon to get that down. The weather should start turning cooler, more seasonable in the next week or so. I had the irrigation. There's only a single drip tape going down the center of each one of these beds. I had that off, and yesterday I turned it on for last night. We use our drip irrigation at nighttime. This is the same plant material, the same mustard greens, just at a couple weeks more mature than these ones. And these ones here are a couple more weeks more mature than these ones. So we're probably at a month right now that these ones have been growing. So these plants are putting in tremendous amounts of carbohydrates into the soil to feed all the microorganisms and build more soil. So lots of carbs going into the soil, certainly some nitrogen as well, but this being predominantly mustard greens, these aren't nitrogen fixers here. So these will help to hold in some of those nitrogen, the nitrates, so that they don't leach out and go into the surrounding areas. And again, these beds, the pathways are anywhere between 18 and 24 inches wide, and the beds are between 30 and 36, sometimes 42. This one here is like 64 inches wide, this bed is. So this was the blue potatoes. This area here was, were these onions? Yeah, I think these two were red onions. Broccoli, cauliflower, banana peppers, and 2 rows of tomatoes here. That's what we had in these beds. You have to go back and double check me in the garden updates. Since it's a beautiful day and beautiful week here, we've had lots of the airplanes taking off around here. So here we are in the eastern garden plot. This is a smaller hoop design here, comfortable to work in as well. The height is just over 6 feet tall, and these are the scarlet red runner beans here, and these are T-posts with cattle panels for the most part. Here we have more of the mustard greens, so these two were planted more recently compared to the rest of them. So in these beds we had carrots and what else do we have up there? We had, rosemary up at the other end. Some more carrots here and rosemary here. We had kidney beans and banana peppers in these couple of beds here. Here we had our russet potatoes, and I showed that we had just started our seeding of winter rye. So this is winter rye. It also is mulched with some moldy hay, and there's 4 drip tapes underneath this whole area. And I turned this just on again yesterday. So it's a little underwatered, all of these beds for the most part. I did get the rosemary that I had potted up, and a few of these lemon balm. I may take a couple more and pot them up. After things freeze up, I'll probably pull out a lot of the honey locusts and transplant those. And Thea's still getting some of our red Russian kale out of here at this time as well. And Thea's going to try and harvest more of these scarlet red runner beans soon. The other hoop here, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this hoop here next year. One thing in my design, considering space and all, this is too close of a space to work comfortably and all. Although this is a very good hoop design, the way that this one is designed, each time that I've made different trellises, I've learned from the experiences as well. And we grew crops inside of these beds with a path down the center. So this was a very productive setup the way that I had it a few years ago, but it wasn't ergonomic. The raised beds weren't much higher than the paths, so it wasn't as comfortable. I didn't look forward to coming out here and working in here. And it was harder to weed and manage with the narrow spaces on the sides. And this is one, if you look into the old videos, that I was going to close up and grow more crops in here in the wintertime by putting polycarbonate over the outside, and I had sliding glass doors on here as well. But it just didn't work out, so I'm always redesigning systems as time goes on. I've got to get out here and harvest these sweet potatoes pretty soon. I'm not expecting a frost very soon, but I really should get to it and see if I can get these sweet potatoes out. Hopefully I just posted a video on the handicap beds. Recently I talked about the strawberry transplants, and you could see they look to be holding up. So I got some dirt on their leaves. Let's see how they look here. So here's some of the alfalfa pellets here that weren't covered up. This is hardwood bark from hardwood that's been double ground, and that's the mulch that sits on top of everything here. And so far, most of these strawberry plants look looking pretty darn good shape. I wanted to put the strawberry plants about in the center of the beds. All right, so this one doesn't look so hot here. And I may have had the root crown just a little bit too deep down in there, and the leaves are a little bit fried. So that one doesn't look so good. This one looks a little bit a little worse for wear. If we do get some rain in the next 24 to 48 hours and we have overcast, that may be helpful. The Hosta berries here, man, these things have just grown like crazy. These are all from little cuttings early this spring, and they are just growing like crazy. There still are some high bush cranberry bushes right here. The Hosta berries, I absolutely love the taste, and I love the taste of the mulberry trees that were planted on the other side. But I think they got too crowded out. I'm going to have to probably have them so that they're in a really they aren't being overgrown by everything else, the weeds and the other big plants like this. So having something that's 3-4 foot tall with little plants that are only going to leaf out a little bit, be less than a foot tall, that's not fair to them. They need to get sunlight, airflow, and certainly not be completely in a little coffin of other plants. I showed the other day, these are the rain gutter beds, and I mentioned these briefly in the last video as well. But you'll notice compared to last week, there's no leaves on here. I'm sorry, no weeds in these beds right now. So I took my small portable flame weeder, came out here and just went over these quickly. I had to take off the drip tapes that sit on top of them because the rain gutters are cracked, so they don't work anymore. So I have the drip tape. I removed the drip tape, took the flame weeder down 4 or 5 minutes, and that was done, so that's great. These are the black currants. They're doing very, very well. I'm pretty happy with them overall, considering everything. These were completely overtaken by weeds for a while. There's lots of weeds still in this bed. I haven't gotten to our herbs to clean out the weeds around here, and I do want to redesign this unit. This is more of the rumble wall blocks. These are 16 inches tall. This wall is. And of course the center is raised to accommodate the statue and all. But this has soaker hose for the watering system down here. It has been working, but I do want to redesign this. I don't want to redesign the whole thing. I want to rework the irrigation system for these plants. Although these plants have done very, very well. Even these darn weeds. Okay, so that's about it. A tour of the garden here. I'm going to try and get the the drone up and get some aerial shots of the areas around here, I think that might gain a different perspective as well. I wish I had done it throughout the season. Hopefully next year I'll get better at that and just get out here regularly so we can see the transition of the beds over time. Please feel free to leave comments, make suggestions, and share your experiences this season. Things are just winding down here in the Zone 5 area. Even though we've had this extended warm period, it's been amazing. And I do appreciate everyone watching and commenting as well. Thanks so much for watching, folks. If you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and feel free to leave any comments or suggestions. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.